All right, this is Frank Salinas. Thank you for being here. I'm here with another exciting interview, and I know it's going to bring a lot of value. And I'm here with my good friend Reed Floren. Reed, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me, Frank.
Yeah, no problem. Listen, I wanted to get you on because we've been talking a little bit more lately, just due to a certain thing that we use, a certain service. And for those of you who don't know Reed Floren, he started his online career or his business career early on. He started way back when he was in high school, and he quickly had a lot of success. He's known for his expertise in affiliate marketing, joint venture marketing, and just internet marketing in general. He's made millions. He's helped lots of people. He's done private consulting and coaching, and I know he's going to bring the heat with the value he has stored right here. So I'm not doing you justice, Reed. So why don't you let people know who's Reed Floren, who was he in high school, and give them a little bit of background, because I like to let people know that no one's special in this industry. It's just what makes us special is we don't give up and we don't throw in the towel. We just keep at it. And that's one of the things we all have in common, all of our friends that we know a lot of people in common. So tell them who you are, who you were in high school, where you came from, so they can see that if they want any kind of business, or if they're in a business, maybe they're in some MLM, or they're doing affiliate marketing, or they have a food truck, whatever. They have the entrepreneur spirit, or maybe it's just somebody that has a corporate job and they just want to take it to the next level. All these mindsets, they can take that, and turn it into something that benefits them and their family. So I'll stop talking. So go ahead.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me, Frank. I started back in 1999. I ended up switching schools. My parents and I were kind of worried about bullying at the local high school, and so we switched. I would have been a seventh grader at this time, and 13. And I switched so it was September 1999. I started going to a project-based learning school where every kid had a computer on their desk. They had a high-speed internet connection. This was 20 years ago, so pretty real advanced technologically compared to what most people had for school at that time. And how that worked is, instead of teachers telling you what you had to learn, you worked on projects. So we would propose a project to a group of, we called them advisors, and we would have basically an outline of what we wanted to learn. We'd talk about some questions that we really wanted to learn, those kind of things. And so we would make our projects, and we would have to defend them to those same advisors when we were done. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of the projects that I did revolved around making money and the internet, and eventually I started doing a stock market website and a bunch of different things that I started to do in high school. And that's where I really hit the bug. And around this time, I'd seen some stuff about people making money on the internet. One of the things that was all the rage right then was a banner ad that you could put on the bottom of your computer. You got 50 cents an hour for every hour you were online. And you got 10 cents an hour for everyone you referred down, I think, 5 levels. Mm-hmm. And so I started doing that. I ended up actually acting in some college plays at that time. And so I ended up going up to the local college and just went up to college kids and asked a bunch of them to sign up. And so I started getting checks from this company called All Advantage that paid you to surf the internet. And so that was my first taste of internet marketing success, if you will. And then during that time, at school, I tried to get the school convinced, because it was like, everyone's got a computer here. I could get this installed on everyone's computer. And their lawyer didn't like that idea, but he also didn't know computers plugged into electricity. So that was an interesting conversation. Yeah, he was an old guy. And then basically I went from that to, like eBay was all the rage right around then. There were some other sites where you got paid to sort of affiliate program type stuff. There were different e-com stores that would pay you for affiliate stuff. I delved into kind of the internet marketing realm and started buying some ebooks, and there weren't like video training courses back then or anything like that, but there were 20-page $97 ebooks that you could read. So that was fun to save up my money from selling like Mountain Dew and candy to other kids at school, and save my money and go, I'm going to buy this course on how to do XYZ. And so that's what I did. I did a ton of that, and then I would take the things that I bought, I would implement them, and then I would turn that into more money. And so I would combine that with, entrepreneurial things I was doing on the side. I would help people fix up their computers. I, taught people how to do stuff on their computer. I, did other project type things for different people where I got paid for things. And I combined that with doing internet marketing. And so fast forward a couple years later, we had the dot-com crash happen, and I'm kind of like, boy, I don't know about this internet thing. Maybe this was a bad idea. Maybe I should do something else. And I started doing some other projects, and then there was they did kind of a fake stock market investing competition thing at school. And so I was like, my competitive nature really got into that. So I was like, I'm not going to join that class. I don't really want to join it, but I'll compete with you guys. And so you start out with the fake $100,000. And so I went from like 100,000 to around 130,000 and ended up being at the top of the class. And then while we were on a field trip, I was heavily leveraged and margined on everything. And I went from 130,000 down to $77,000 or $76,000. And so I went from the top to the bottom in like a 24-hour period. And then so my ego got involved. And so I ended up finding a little trick with the website where it wasn't really paying attention to when you place the order for the stock. It just was like, oh, if you bought the stock at that day, great, you won. And so I just looked for what were the top highest percentage gainers. And so I would buy all those. And so I went from 77,000 to like 1.3 million in 90 days. Now that wouldn't work in real life, but it worked to just, blow everyone else out of the water. And so that's when I got interested in the stock market and started subscribing to Wall Street Journal and Barron's and Investors Business Daily and all those things. And I started a website where, as I actually called it, IBDU. So Investors Business Daily University. Well, I got a cease and desist letter from Investors Business Daily from that.
I know what those are.
After they had written up about me, I actually got a few different ones from different companies that didn't like some of the things I was doing. And then that got me some national media attention from that. I got into magazines, got into newspapers, radio, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so, it was a great learning experience from that. But so I was like, boy, I don't know if I want to deal with these big companies and stuff like that. I was just scared. And so I gave them the domain name, and I just kind of walked away from it. I changed the website name to my name, so readfloren.com. That remained a stock market site for a few years. Delved into some other projects. Fast forward a little bit later, I make a deal with my parents. Like, hey, I really like this internet stuff. I've made some money with it. I know I've made more than most people have. With it, like I hadn't made like millions or anything like that, but I know I'd made more money than most people had dabbled with it at that point as a high school kid. And so I was like, okay, let me make a deal with you guys. Give me a couple years to really figure this out, focus full time on it, treat it like a job, treat it like a business. And if I can't get it figured out in a few years, I will, swallow my pride and go to school. And so that was when I graduated. They weren't too happy with that decision, but they stood by me and let me do it. And so I think it was a good call. But, basically I started doing AdSense arbitrage around that time, where basically I'd pay Google AdWords to send traffic to my website, and then I would get paid from having the ads on my website from Google. And interesting thing about that is I was only driving traffic that way, and they claimed I was illegally clicking on my ads. So that was a fun upset to think you're making tons of money every month. I just bought a new car and all sorts of things. And I learned my lesson of wait till you actually get paid before you spend additional money, especially when you're using money to make money. That is a fun lesson to learn at like 19, that you can really get burned pretty quickly. So I started doing that. Then I did joint venture brokering. And so I bought a course by a young guy. I don't even know if he's still in the industry. His name was Jason Cox, and it was like a $297 course, a DVD set that taught you how to do JV brokering. And I bought it through Russell Brunson's affiliate. Now, this was way before ClickFunnels. This was way before Russell was big. This is when Russell was like in college or saving money for college or something like that. His email was money for college, if that gives you any idea. And so this is going way back. And I ended up buying that course through his affiliate link. His bonus was that I could do JV brokering for him. So I started JV brokering some of his early products. And that's how I met people like Mark Joyner and Henry Gold and a bunch of other internet marketers where, Mark, I started working with him on some stuff and did some JVs with him. I got invited to an event that I think Mark and actually it was the one Mike Filsame. It was his first event. So Internet Marketing Main Event. Yeah. It was run by a group of people, and so I met tons of people there. But I think Mark,
you're like the young whiz kid, right? So they were like pretty intrigued. This young guy is like doing well.
they got a lot of help from a lot of people. That is definitely for sure. And so I think Mark and Russell were both speaking at that event, and I knew Mike from some dealings that we had done on I think it was the How To Corp forum or maybe the Warrior forum at that time. And so we all kind of knew each other. And so I was too young to actually get a hotel room at that time. And I know all of them reached out to the hotel on my behalf trying to let me stay there. And the hotel went budge. I ended up staying across the street. But that's how young I was at this time. Wow. And so, I started doing JV stuff with those guys. Fast forward a few months later, Henry Gold and I do a JV giveaway event, which was 117 Christmas gifts. We had over 1,000 JV partners participate in that. I think you might have been in it.
Yeah, I probably was. It sounded familiar. Yeah.
I think that's about the time that we started talking, was around then. And basically, we did a list of, I want to say, 56,000 people in 30 days from that. So that was my first real foray into really building an email list. I'd seen the power of email marketing from other people like promoting stuff as a JV broker and getting a percentage cut on the sales people made. But to actually see how fast a list could grow, that was amazing. So that was 2005. Fast forward another year, I'm still doing the JV stuff, dabbling with some other things. Haven't really made it yet, and I'm like, that JV giveaway thing worked really well for Henry and for everyone else involved. I better do a giveaway event too. And so I did my own kind of makeshift giveaway, invited the top 10 guys that were on that event. I was like, hey, let's just do a mini thing where you guys put your thing on the page. And I ended up getting like 3,500 some subscribers in a week. And so I did that. I promoted. That was my first like real list of my own. So this was 2006. And so I promoted, I think it was a software course from Jeff Anderson or something like that. And it was basically a DVD set of source code that you got access to. And so I promoted that. I made a little video thing. So this was like early days of YouTube. It might even be on there. It might have been Google Video at that time. It's going way back. And I did like a 30-minute video where I talked about what the course was and what was in each disc. And then I gave some sort of bonus. I don't have a clue what it was, but I gave some sort of bonus. And I made some sales and ended up being on the leaderboard. So like basically overnight, I ended up being a super affiliate. Not that I had made like tens of thousands of dollars or anything, but I'd made some money, and I could say that I was a super affiliate. I had placed on a leaderboard. And then I did that for a few other things shortly after that. And I'm like, wow, this email thing works. And so I started doing a bunch of other JV giveaway events, started doing some paid traffic stuff, started doing those kind of services for other people. And so fast forward a little while later, I ended up building a list of a couple 100,000 people doing that. I do a training course of my own where I teach people how to do the joint venture brokering because I had success with that. So I made a live coaching program that so it'd been the early days of GoToWebinar. And so I did basically PowerPoint presentations. I helped people as much as I could along the way, charged $9.97. We had around 100 people buy that training program for me doing some webinars on other people's lists, me speaking at a few events, things like that, kind of got some people in on that. And then I started selling that as a physical course. So I went to the local college and I asked them to print this up and put it in binders, and then I ended up buying a DVD duplicator from, so it was like, it could do 4 or 5 discs at a time. And so I would handwrite, disc 1, and it looks so crappy because my handwriting is chicken scratch. And I'm sure there are some people that refunded just because of how shitty my handwriting is. But it was fun. And so I started doing that, and I started speaking at different events. So I first got invited over, there was one in Wisconsin and a couple in Minnesota because that's where I live in Minnesota. And then I got invited to speak over in England, and I spoke there a bunch, and then Canada, and then it just exploded from there. So I started doing New Zealand and all over Australia, Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong, all these other countries that I got to speak on tour about doing stuff. And some of those events did really well for me. Other events didn't do so well for me, but it was a great way to see the world and really experience, the internet lifestyle.
Oh yeah,
so to speak.
Sure. Yeah, that's cool. And then it transitioned from there into what else?
Then, transitions from there into, building my list more and creating my own information products and just helping people out, doing one-on-one coaching and consulting. And then, now the new thing that I've been playing with lately, I don't know if you want to talk about that at all, but, what I'm doing there. And then, there's just different projects I've been doing ever since. So a lot of it's been kind of similar to what those things were like a decade ago. Nothing's really changed majorly, but the basic principles are still there. It's still find an audience that wants stuff and give it to them. Right.
Okay. And for those of you watching who might be like listening to us and you're like, what the heck are they talking about? Well, the main thing we're talking about is email marketing. One of the things is where you give away something or you sell something, people get on an email list. I'm sure for those of you watching, you maybe subscribe to Groupon, and Groupon sends people emails a lot every day. So you're on their email list. So you're on their news, you're a subscriber to their newsletter, right? So that's email marketing. People get on your email list. You send them things related to what they opted in for or what they purchased. And so, well, if they bought this report about how to make money on the internet, that's what they're interested in. So that's what you're going to send them emails about related to that industry. So if someone's opting in for something that they're interested in, say making money on the internet, you're not going to send them recipes. Okay. So in business and in marketing, we try to keep things relevant and congruent. So that's just a quick little thing for those that might not know what we're talking about here. But so Reed, what advice would you give someone who's just starting out, whether they want to build their affiliate business, whether they're trying to build their first email list, or even whether just trying to start some kind of business? Maybe they're joining MLM or they just want to make money. They're tired of their job. What advice would you give somebody just starting out?
It's really focused. Follow one course until success. That's really what you have to do. You have to figure out one of those things. So one of the things that I had a lot of issues with, and I still struggle with this, is I like to do all sorts of different things, and then I have all these spinning plates in the air, and then they all come crashing down, and everything just falls apart. And anytime that I focus on anything for any length of time and just went and focused on that, that's when I've made real money, whether it be doing anything on eBay or doing the JV stuff or doing email marketing or doing something completely new I have never even done before. If I just focus on that one task, that's where I'm going to see success. That's where you're going to see success. It's just really how it is. You figure out, okay, how much do I need to make from this thing where I'm considering it a success? Maybe it's your first $100. Maybe it's your first $1,000. Maybe it's $10,000. Maybe it's a certain amount per month. You don't start anything else until you hit that goal.
Yeah.
You see, and you give yourself a timeline. You go, okay, maybe 30 days isn't enough. Maybe it's got to be 60, 90, maybe 180. I don't know. I don't know what your situation is. I don't say go out and go, oh, I'm going to make $100 million online this year and I've never made $1.
Right.
Good luck. That's not going to happen. I mean, you might hear some crazy story somewhere where that happened once of the almost 8 billion people we have in the world, but it's not realistic. What is realistic is where you're going to turn $1 and make it into $2 or $3. That is realistic. And if that means you go and grab some stuff that's around your house and sell it on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or eBay, and that gives you some seed money, so be it.
Yeah.
Everybody, myself included, has tons of junk at their house that they could stand to get rid of and make a few bucks in the meantime. And nobody is, beneath being able to do that. That's something that everyone should do.
Right.
Anyone should pocket some of that cash. And so that answers the question of anyone struggling with money. That's one way to come up with funds. But really, if you focus on one thing, I would strongly suggest focusing on email marketing because that's an asset that you control. It's not like, so if you build a Facebook fan page or a YouTube channel or an Instagram account, they can go, hey, we didn't like what you posted. Boom, you're gone. And you spent all of those months or years building that, maybe a bunch of money on advertising, or they changed their algorithm and your stuff doesn't show. I mean, we've looked at Facebook profiles and pages over the years, and their reach has just...
Yeah, because they want you to pay for it.
Die.
Yeah.
They want you to pay. It's pay to play right now. That's how it's going to be, and that's any of those social media platforms are. Now, that being said, There isn't anything wrong with doing social media. I make a lot of money from social media. I know a lot of people that do. There's tons of people that make a fortune on social media. But build that email list first. Use that email list to grow up your social media following. Use that email list to grow the YouTube channel. Use that email list to grow your chat bots, to grow your Instagram, to grow every other thing that you want to do. And don't just jump into everything because other people are doing it. You may find that you do really well with doing email and Facebook, and maybe you don't understand Snapchat. I don't get Snap. I don't understand. I'm too old. It's my excuse. And Instagram, I don't do much with those things because I just don't like it.
Yeah.
And so but I could do a Facebook group. I can do that. I can go live on a Facebook video. Sure, that's easy. I can upload a video to YouTube. I can do that. That's simple. But figuring out how to send a disappearing picture to somebody, I don't get it. But to each their own. Maybe that's your thing. Maybe that's what you understand, and maybe you can build a huge following on there. Wonderful. But stick with email marketing is my opinion. Figure out a niche that you want to be in. So you've got your vehicle, which is email marketing. Then you got to figure out your niche. Now, I recommend anyone that's watching this is interested in making money on the internet. I mean, that's obviously. I mean, maybe we've got some family members that are going to check this out, but most people that see this video, 99% of the people that watch this have some idea of what internet marketing is. They're like, oh yeah, people buy information products on the internet or software, stuff like that. And so they have a vague idea. You've probably bought a lot of products in that market. And so that's another indicator. If you obviously have an interest in it and you've obviously spent some money on it, that probably means other people do too. And so you are your ideal customer that way. And so you can go, okay, what would convince me to buy this? What would I want solved? What problem that's the burning thing that's for me that I need solving? And so you go, okay, how do I figure that out? Is there a product out there that solves that? Or could I make a product that solves that?
Yeah.
And what I would recommend people do is dip their toes in with affiliate marketing. Now, yes, you're going to make a lot more money with a buyer's list than with a freebie seeker list promoting affiliate products. But dip your toes in. Creating your own product is a whole other ball game. You've got sales copy, you got a website to manage, you got to set up all the autoresponders, you got to get approved on all these marketplaces. It's kind of a pain in the butt. But being an affiliate and promoting somebody else's hard work that they put maybe hundreds of hours into creating this product, that's easy. You just get your affiliate link and you drive traffic to it. So you build a list, you drive traffic to that affiliate offer, you pocket the cash. They deal with the customer support. They deal with any issues on the website. They deal with all that other stuff that we don't want to do. And so that's how you start making money. And then when you want to start making real money, you start making your own products. You start speaking at events. You start doing webinars. You start doing interviews. You get on podcasts. You do all those things. That's where the big money is. But you dip your toes in. You see a proof of concept that, hey, this actually works. Because I'm willing to bet that almost everyone in your life is like, yeah, you're going to make money on the internet. Right. Sure you are. What a scam, and that might be your spouse, that might be your kids, that's probably your neighbors, that's probably anyone in your family is going to look down on this idea because they're just going to want to save you from doing anything that could possibly hurt you or put you outside of your comfort zone. Well, the only growth you're ever going to have is stepping outside of your comfort zone. And by stepping out of your comfort zone, focusing on that niche, focusing on building that email list, giving people getting them to know, like, and trust you. Build that relationship with them. Show them videos of you. Give them some tips. Give them some strategies. Help people out. Respond to their emails. Those types of things. I've got customers on there that have been on my list since day one, and they still buy. Yeah. And the only reason they do that is I've treated them like family. I treated them like a real person. I've treated them how I would think I would want to be treated and how I think they would want to be treated. And sometimes that's a little bit different than how I'd want to be treated. And so if I focus on what I feel that people want, that has served me well over the years. And yes, there are times that I spend way too much time, responding to someone's questions or helping someone out, and I'm not getting paid for it. But I know I'm earning karma points in the world.
Yeah,
that person may buy from me, or someone else may buy from me in the future. Sorry, what was that, Frank?
Yeah, no, you're planting that seed anyway because they're going to appreciate you, and you're giving them. Maybe they haven't bought, or maybe they bought something, but they're going to go looking around and see what else you have. So you're giving them results in advance kind of also, to where when they're ready to do business with you more, well, of course, they're not going to even flinch. They're going to go for it because you put in that extra effort.
Well, definitely. I mean, the one thing that really irritates me about the internet marketing niche, info product creators in general, and I know I make this mistake too, so it's not the pot, calling the kettle black or anything. I'm not perfect by any means, but there's a lot of people that, will slam a customer online, or they'll not respond to someone because they think they're like beneath their questions stupid or whatever. And like, you have no idea what that person's situation is, or who they're connected to, or how big of a player they're going to be in the industry. I mean, I've hung out with actual billionaires that you would think were just poor people. I mean, they're not dressed fancy. They don't talk any different from you and I. I mean, but they have mega bucks, and way more than anyone in the internet marketing space has. And it's like, it's interesting how low key they are, and how less of an ego they have compared to some of the characters we see in this space. Now, granted, most people are really cool, but there's a handful of people that I'm kind of like, are you serious? Like, get off your high horse a little bit.
And that's what they say too, is I've heard this from somebody, your level of income typically follows your personal growth. So, the more people grow and get better and improve and learn, and the money's going to follow, right? So
definitely.
And so just remember, so remember, focus. And if you need, like Reed said, seed money, a lot of people don't know this. Look around your house, see what you have. It doesn't mean, sell the sofa out from under your kids or anything like that. But what it means is be resourceful, right? That's the only difference between people that give up and don't, is they're resourceful. And so go out there, look around, say, I can sell it. Next thing you know, boom, you made $300, $400, $500 to go invest in and that course you wanted to buy, or invest in paying someone to transcribe some audio you made for your first product, whatever that might be. Don't ever think that it's impossible, or your situation's so unique that you can't do it, because listen, everyone can do it. I know Reed hasn't touched on this, but I mean, he's been through a lot of stuff over the years, and especially like his family growing up and then later on in life. So what we're just trying to say, and what Reed basically said is listen, keep your focus, go at it, and be resourceful. Get money where you need to by going to the marketplace. You can put it on Craigslist. You can put it on, there's a couple other apps, 5 Miles, OfferUp, there's Let Go, all those different places you can put stuff for sale and make extra money to get you going. Because when you see that and you make your first little sale, $100, $50, you sold an old coffee table, whatever, that's going to show you that, man, I'm doing something. I'm working towards what I want. And one thing I know, I've seen in my life, what keeps people full of joy and happy, one of the things is just progress. If they see they're doing progress, making progress, then you're doing better than yesterday where you're just complaining about your job. So Reed, what would you recommend? Okay, what are some of the big mistakes you see people making just in business in general related to entrepreneurship, especially new people, or they're joining that new company, or they're trying to make something work and maybe they have a full-time job still? What do you see some mistakes that people have made or are making that maybe you've made yourself, and how can they avoid those?
Well, obviously the number one thing is going from thing to thing to thing and having no real direction. Just because something's on sale and you got an email about some, 4-year plus offer that's this shiny new object, doesn't mean you have to go buy it. If you have no interest in doing offline marketing, don't buy those products. Yeah. If you have no interest in flipping stuff on Amazon, don't buy it just because it's on sale. I mean, people are like crack addicts in this niche, and they just got to get their fix. It's ridiculous. But, figure out what you actually want to do. And yes, that may mean you buy a couple different things and go, that really wasn't really what I wanted. And that's great. You saved yourself a ton of time and a ton of effort trying to figure that out on your own. But once you've honed in on something that you want to do, and I suggest people do the e-marketing because that's easy. Mm-hmm. People can do that. You can get leads really cheap nowadays and get started with email marketing easily, really affordably. And so I personally feel people should do that. But you may go, maybe I want to be a freelancer. Maybe I want to do this. Maybe I want to do that. And that's fine. You can use that for seed money. But you really hone in on one thing. Also, go above and beyond. There's a ton of people that will do the absolute bare minimum, and then they wonder why they have no results. And yes, I've done that. And yes, I've had some results with it. But I know every single time I've left money on the table, I've shot myself in the foot. It was wasted effort by doing that. And so you may want to create a bonus. You may want to create a bonus page. You may want to do an interview. You may want to do a review. Those types of things are going to help you make more sales. for instance, one of the things that's going really well for me right now, I created a Facebook group where I was helping people out as much as possible. And yes, I'm putting in more time than I would like for the amount of money that it's generating right now, but I know it's the early stages of that program for me. And I know that, I'm going to add a 0 or 2 on the end of the income that's coming in from it, just because that's where things are going. And so, put in the elbow grease. Don't be afraid to put a little bit of work in, knowing that what you're doing, you're building a business. You're working on a business. You're not necessarily working in your business. That's the thing where people get hung up on. They're like, oh, I got to do everything myself, and I have to do all this work, and I've done this too. Like, I've transcribed my videos myself because I wanted to save a couple bucks. Oh, geez, I couldn't get anything done. Like, that was a waste of time. Like, there are Temi.com, you can transcribe stuff for 10 cents a minute. Otter.ai gives you, I think, 10 hours of transcription a month for free. If you want to actually pay a person to do it, those are all artificial intelligence. If you want to pay a person to do it, Rev.com is $1 per minute. So, I mean, you can get stuff transcribed really affordably nowadays. A lot of things. Like, I've had people where, even recently, I tried to set up a web server myself, and I was like, oh, I'm technical, I can do this. And I spent a couple days trying to get it working. I couldn't get it working. I paid someone on Fiverr $35 to just set it up. And it works. It still works. It's perfect. It's like,
that's
sometimes.
That's one of the things I taught my kids so far. They're little, but I want to teach them that, and I keep telling them. So now I quiz them every once in a while. So I'm like, what's one of the most valuable things that you have? And they say, time. Okay, great. And then I follow up with, what's one of the cheapest things you can buy? And they say, other people's time. So I'm trying to teach them that early because it's not deceitful. You're not doing anything. Listen, people name the price. You see the price. It's a good deal for you, and it's win-win. So, and that's just called leverage, right? And so people don't realize you can get a virtual assistant for $3 to $5 from the Philippines or somewhere from India or anywhere, or you could, outsource somewhere else. So like you said, they're doing everything on their own when they could be leveraging other people's expertise and then only focus on the money-making activities. So, so transitioned into overall entrepreneurship. Someone's wanting to improve their life, and they have a full-time job. They got this part-time business going. What are some things, anyone, not related to email marketing, not related to anything like that, just in general, that's helped you, that you saw helped you? Like, what can they, like, is there some habits you have maybe that that other typical people don't, the average person doesn't do? Is there something that a daily activity? Give us some, like, if they're this place, they don't want to be there, and maybe a year from now they want to be at an extra $5,000 a month or $10,000 a month in part-time income. What are some things that anyone, doesn't matter what business they're in, that they can implement that for sure will help them and has helped you?
Sure. Well, really, it's managing your day, managing your time. I have, for years, I've taken the attitude of, I could do whatever I want, whenever, and it doesn't matter. And tasks just expand and expand and expand when you have all this time. I think it's called Parkinson's Law, and it just expands out. And so that has always been my downfall. I've gotten better at it. Some of the things that have helped, a Pomodoro timer. So you give yourself like 25 minutes to work on a task, and then it'll ding, and then you have a 5-minute break. You do that for a couple cycles, and you only focus on one task. So maybe you're going to reply to emails during that 25 minutes, or maybe you're going to write a blog post during that 25 minutes, or whatever. That's all you do. You're not going and checking the news. You're not checking other stuff. Mm-hmm. Another thing is getting a thing that blocks websites. So I use one called freedom.to. I think it's the website for it. And so I use that to block different things and make it so I can't access stuff all day long. Let's see, I've used a thing that helps kind of schedule my day called Focuster.io, I think is their website. And so that's usually my homepage. When I open up my browser, it kind of shows me what's on my to-do list for the day. I also jot down tasks using Google Keep because it's easy to access that from any device I've got, and I can share that task list with other people easily. When you touched on outsourcing, and I know a lot of people are like, man, I don't want to spend $300 to $500 a month on an outsource. And I get it. Like that's expensive. So I've found something where you can have an intern work up to 10 hours a week for you, and it's $49 a month. Okay, it's called Gen M, and so that's a thing I've been using for a couple of years now. And you basically pay a membership fee of, I think it's $49 a month. You get access to an intern that you can pick from their, they've got like 12,000 people on there, and you can get someone to work from 5 to 10 hours a week on your projects. And obviously you kind of help them out. They're college kids or recent college grads, and they're looking for some experience. They're looking for a testimonial on their resume, those kind of things. And so that's a service I've used a bunch over the last couple of years. And so you have them basically for 3 months, and then at the end of it, you give them some feedback and a testimonial type of thing. If you want to hire them as an employee, you can hire them, or they'll go find someone else. So that's
$50. You get them 5 to 10 hours a week for the same person. So you're basically getting them for 40 hours for $50.
Correct.
Wow. You hear that, guys? Listen. And these are all college educated, English speaking, English writing people. Some of them are actually here in the U.S., right?
A lot of them are.
Yeah. So, I mean, you need help in an area. Look at that. So you get to work with them for 3 months, you said?
3 months. Here's a little hack that I learned from the founder of the site is, everyone's trying to get people that are US based or UK based or Canada based. Well, the real trick is go find a Filipino on there that you can get for $50 a month, because that's someone you can afford when the 3 months is up. That's someone that you could keep. You've spent 3 months training them. They know your system inside and out. They know your operating procedures. They know what you want done. You know if they're a good worker or not, because they've been working for you 10 hours a week for, like 12 weeks. Well, that's the person that you probably hire for the $300 a month.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. So just a little nut for people.
That's good. That's good. What do you see as far as trends in just an online, the digital space, digital marketing related to, the Internet of Things, right? Everyone's on their phone, right? I mean, everywhere you go, you look, oh, wow, that guy's praying. No, he's not praying. He's on his phone at the light, right? So, I mean, obviously, mobile's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Big box stores are getting shut down because of this whole thing where everyone and their mama's starting their own online store. What do you see some trends, just based on maybe what you see, some movers and shakers that might be friends of yours, or just seeing, taking a step back at the marketplace? What do you see some trends that maybe someone can capitalize on? Now, I see something here, just so somebody can take away from this. And the reason I know this is because I was going to consult for a Hispanic marketing firm last year. And I went to go meet with the guy, and he showed me all these stats, and he revealed to me basically that the Hispanic market in the United States is going to be bigger than millennials in the next couple of years. So that's a trend, and it's not even a trend. It's just the facts. It's what's going to be soon. So if you're in an area where you can service Hispanics, go for it. They say that average Hispanic Latina over 25 years old shops more online than the average Caucasian female. So, and most of these women, they were born here. Their parents are from another country. And so they're first generation, I think that's what you call it. They're born here, like me. My parents are from Mexico. I was born here in Texas. So the average Latina, I think is over 18 or something, shops more online than the average Caucasian woman. And the brand loyalty is stronger. So they stay with the brand and follow them longer. And I met with, last week I had a student fly in. He stayed at the Post Oak Hotel, and we recorded videos, and we did like a video mastermind. So I hired a guy. Turns out he caters to the Hispanic market, and he confirmed everything that I was saying, and he just said, yeah, you're right. So that's one thing. If you're in an area where you can target the Hispanic market, go for it. So that's one trend I know is here. It's already here. For those of you listening, go look up Pizza Patron case study, and you can find maybe on YouTube where Pizza Patron, it's not like Domino's or Pizza Hut, but they're growing tremendously. And what they're doing is they just show ads, and they'll put a Spanish word in the ad here and there. So then it catches the attention of the Hispanic market. and boom, they're building up loyalty. So that's just one thing I know. I'm going to share that. So here in these next couple minutes, share with us, the next 5 minutes, and then we'll wrap it up with one more closing thing from you.
No, I completely agree there. The internet is probably pretty well penetrated in the English-speaking world right now.
Yeah.
It's been out for quite a while, but if you look at all the other countries where there's a bunch of other different languages that are popular, and there's just much growth. Plus, I mean, like you mentioned in the United States, there's a changing demographic right now where we're definitely having a lot of people that don't speak English that are just coming here and living here, and that's great. And so there's a lot of money to be made. I've personally made money myself having some of my things translated into other languages. So I know for a fact that there's money there. And so that is a good thing. I do think there's going to be growth there. I think we're going to see a lot of privacy stuff coming up because of what's been mishandled with Facebook and other tech giants that they can, especially how that might affect advertising, because the ability to track conversions and be able to track customers, that might get really interesting. I could also see that having some blowback with affiliate marketing, because I could see some laws being changed for some stuff. So that is something that we're going to have to keep an eye on. I think artificial intelligence, especially kind of machine learning on who to target for advertising, is going to get really interesting. It's already kind of here, but it's going to get better, and also it creating ad copy for us is something that we're going to see more and more of. I think a lot of people, so in the next few years, our phones are doing the 4G service, and it was a couple years ago it was 3G. 4G was fast enough to do video streaming and talking on like Zoom and Skype and stuff like that. 5G phone service is really going to change things. I mean, your car is going to be connected. Every little piece of electronic, even stuff that you didn't think needed to be connected to the internet, like your slow cooker or whatever, is going to be connected to the internet, and you're going to get updates from anywhere in the world, regardless if you want it or not. And that's how everything's going to be sold in the near future. And so that's going to be really interesting to see how we can tap into that and make money from, number one, and also just selling those types of product to other people, how much additional money can be made when you can slap another $100 onto it because it connects to the internet magically. That's going to be interesting. Obviously, with the speed improvements for the internet, we're going to see a lot more video streaming. I think my generation in particular isn't as afraid to be on camera, and they also grew up with computers and cell phones in their hands at all times, so they're not, like a lot of baby boomers have a lot of issues with technology, and a lot of them are afraid to be on camera, and they're really afraid of all those types of things, because that's complaints I hear from people all the time in that particular age range. But I think that a lot of people that are maybe 45 and under are a lot more comfortable with it, and then you got a lot of these kids that are 20 or less, where that's all they know. All they do is that, and so they're way more comfortable than we are on camera, just because that's all they've done. And so it's going to be really interesting in the next few years to see how that competes. I think the written word is kind of going away. It's always going to be there, but a lot of people just watch things, and so if you can consume and, well, not consume, you can create video content, and you can take that video content, you can strip out, turn it into a podcast, because you can just take the audio file, you can take the video or the audio file and get it transcribed, so you got the written word. You can have someone, maybe one of those Gen M interns, go through it, and they can create little quotes and create little Instagram posts and create other pictures for you. You shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff. That's something an intern can do. That's something an outsourcer can do. They're probably better at graphics than we are. I know they are than me, because everything I do is chicken scratch and looks crappy. But when there's definitely tons of people that are way better at things than we are. A lot of people. Another thing I see people really fail with is they micromanage everything, and they think they're the only way to do it is my way, and that's not the case. I mean,
if I want it right, if I gotta get it right, it's got to be me doing it. Yeah, it's dumb.
Yeah, there's almost 8 billion people in the world. I guarantee you there is at least one person that is better at you at everything.
Yeah.
Every single thing. No matter how much ego you've got and how much ego I like to think I've got, there is guaranteed millions of people that are way smarter than I am, way better at doing things.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even if you boil it down to just 1% of the population being better than you, it's still like 70 or 80 million people that are better at you at any given thing. I mean, it's just ridiculous. We've got so much pride and so much ego, and it's really shooting us in the foot. And if we can get over that and just go out in there and create value and help people as much as possible, you're going to see great things. And I think that's something that a lot of people are going to have a rude awakening when technology starts taking away the jobs and stuff like that. And we're worried about automation. Most of the jobs that the kids that are in school now, they don't exist yet. That's how it's been for the last couple of years, the last couple decades even. And you look at what's coming in the future, I mean, that's what's going to happen. Maybe it'll switch to something where we've got, robots doing everything and it's universal income. I have no idea. Yeah. But for right now, it's really create the value, build those relationships, help people as much as possible, and then find ways to automate things, find ways to make things better, find ways to delegate things to other people so you can continue to grow. And that's the only way that I feel people are going to be able to survive and thrive in the 21st century and beyond.
Yeah, no, you're right. I agree. I totally agree, because things are changing and there's going to be a lot of jobs that are going to be gone. So if you're listening to this and you've been doing one thing for the last 10, 15 years, listen, things could change quickly. Think about the person that used to be in a record company that made records. What happened to them? Think about all the head managers at Blockbuster. What happened to them? Okay, think about the head managers at all these taxi companies where there's less taxes now because, Uber's around. So you always got to be increasing your skills, sharpening iron, and becoming better at something. If you're an accountant, don't think accounting is going to be around like it is now, because blockchain and all that technology one day is going to replace you as the accountant. So don't think you're safe. Oh, nothing can happen. No, you just never know, because with artificial intelligence, listen, I mean, things are changing quicker. We're in the greatest time in history. And with that comes a lot of responsibility on our behalf. If we want the best for our family, we got to get good at being something, be an expert at something, and separate yourself from just an employee and just an average guy and just works the same job 20, 30, 40 hours, a chemical plant, or you're a mechanic, whatever. Get good at something that you're passionate about, and do that part-time. Work on that, make that your passion, so that you don't have just one stream of income. You have your business now, which now you can use to, write things off. And you can't do that as an employee. But once you start that business, you get with your accountant and go from there. But Reed, I want to say thank you for being here. This time went by super, super fast. And sorry, guys, if I seem kind of distracted. My son kept calling my phone, and I'm just going to call him back right now. But I appreciate you for I want to maybe invite you again, and maybe let's do an interview. And I know a lot of people watching this, they were didn't know what we're talking about for some of it. Maybe we'll do another interview just for internet marketing, just straight, maybe some things that they can take into and put into action right away to grow their affiliate or internet marketing business, digital marketing. But give us one more golden nugget that you know to help anybody despite their situation right now.
It's really believing in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, you're not in the right place for this. You're not ready for this. You shouldn't even begin. You shouldn't buy anything. You should unsubscribe from all of our stuff, because if you don't believe in yourself, the slightest thing that goes wrong, you're just going to quit, and you're going to go back to working the job you hate, and you're going to be angry at us. You're going to be angry with anyone that ever talked about starting a business. You need to start believing in yourself. Go to a library, get some books, get your mind right. Get that going first, because this is all mental. If you can get the mental game down, this stuff is easy. It's when the mental game is bad, and I've been there many times where the mental game has been bad, and I'm still clawing out of some bad mental stuff right now. And if you can get over that, things are a lot better this is a lot easier once you do that, and you get a lot more successful once you got that right.
There you go. Well, there you go, guys. I mean, I couldn't agree more. So, Reed, I really appreciate you taking the time. I know your time's valuable. And for those of you watching, I hope you got a lot of value from this. Listen, go back, listen to it again. He's got a ton of golden nuggets in there. And thank you again, Reed. We'll see you on the next one. I look forward to it.
Great. Thank you, Frank.
Appreciate it.